Welcome to the garden. Today we're going to be carving this pumpkin open to get the seeds. So you want a good, usually serrated knife, because something without teeth is likely to slip, and you could cut a little deeper than you want, or you could even injure yourself. So to be safe, you want a serrated blade, and we're going to cut in just little sections at a time, like a little puzzle piece, because we're going to make a jack-o'-lantern, and it's good to have a nice geometric top so that you can fit it back together, and it only fits one way. So little sections at a time until we're all the way around, to make it really easy to find the right angle when you're putting your top back on. You can do a little notch like this, so that piece, that odd shaped piece, can only line up with its counterpart here. So a quick pull, and we've got some beautiful seeds. So I've got a couple of bowls here, one for seed and one for everything else. And really, you don't have to rinse off the pumpkin, because that's all just going to bake onto the seeds and provide a little extra flavor. And you could certainly save these to grow next year. So that's what we're going to do, set a couple aside, and then the rest we're going to roast. And these are so tasty. And the seeds actually are encapsulated in a sort of leathery skin. And just like a sunflower, these are edible, but they're a little bit fibrous. So hopefully we can peel this back. I'm all slippery with pumpkin, but oh! But behind the leather is the actual seed. And you may see these in the store, shelled like this, but they're so tedious to do on your own. And the skin is actually edible, the leathery skin, so I just leave them on. But you could eat these raw, and they have a sort of stunning effect on intestinal worms. So they're great for pets, or if you have some bug yourself, you can eat the raw pumpkin seed. But they separate really easy from all the goop, which is going to just be discarded and composted. But it goes pretty quick, and they have little cells like this, like a tomato. And the seeds grow in these little clusters, so they're pretty easy to strip all at once. And then when you've got most of them, a little bit of olive oil, because we're going to bake these at 350. And then to keep it simple, I just use salt. You could use seasoned salt or onion powder, any sort of combination you like. But I like to keep it simple and just do olive oil and salt. And some people will rinse off all this goop, but I just roast it along with it. It's really easy that way. It provides a little extra pumpkin flavor. And once these are coated, you just want to spread them out onto a baking sheet. You really want them to spread out, or they'll bake together in a big clump like a brittle or a toffee or something. So spread them out and bake them at 350, and you want to keep a close eye on these. It's really easy to overdo it, and then they become bitter and they're no good. So it's better to underdo it and have to rebake them than to have overcooked seeds. But that's real simple. And then to carve out all the fibrous inside stuff, I like a nice rounded spoon, as opposed to something more pointed like this, because I'd have to use the edge, which would be a little awkward. But something like this is perfect, and you really want to cut in to the flesh because it's quite hardily attached, and all these little fibrous strings are where the seeds grow off of. So we're just going to do this all the way around, and these leftover seeds I'm going to pick out and save them so that we can grow our own pumpkins next year. And we grew this one this year, but it didn't quite ripen in time because our first round didn't do so hot. So this was like the second or third batch that I planted out, and it finally took, but just a little bit too late for Halloween. So there we got a nice big chunk, and we're already almost done, and then it'll be ready to carve into a jack-o'-lantern. So again, you want that serrated blade, and it's going to be really easy to carve. And if you can find those ones with round teeth, they're going to be really safe for kids. They have a rounded point and little rounded teeth, and they actually do quite a good job of cutting the pumpkins. But more than just a knife, you could use a spoon, because pumpkin flesh is rather soft. And if you've ever seen those really artistic pumpkins where they're not holes, they're actually just carved in, that's how they do it. They just remove the skin, and the flesh is actually mildly translucent, so the light will beam through and sort of glow. But this is ready to carve a jack-o'-lantern. Oh, and just to remove the filth on the top, we can take our blade and come in nice and close here into the flesh, just like we did with the sides of the pumpkin, just to get all that dangly fibrous stuff off. And just like that, it's ready to carve. So I'm thinking a little wicked smiley face here, or if you're into more of an autumn theme, you can trace leaves with a Sharpie and then come in later and carve out little leaf shapes and have a nice little autumn pumpkin. So that's how we collect our seeds from a pumpkin, and these are going to go in the oven on about 350 for maybe 10-15 minutes, or until they're just lightly toasted. So I hope you give it a go. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.